Hello, I'm Shannon Seaver, and today I'm here to talk to you about 8-4, the second part of it, and it is reading stock market reports. Today we're going to understand stocks and bonds as investments, and we're going to read stock tables. So first of all, in a stock report, these are the types of things that you'll see. It will be a table that looks like this. Notice that here we have a 52-week high. That means the highest amount that it sold for, the stock sold for in the last 52 weeks. And the same goes for the lowest amount the stock sold for in the last 52 weeks. The stock is listed here as most of its name. And if you notice the ticker, that is an abbreviation of the name of the stock. Okay, so then we have yield and dividend, and notice that there's only two stocks here listed with that, and PE. So look down here for PE. This is our formula to find PE. We would take yesterday's closing price per share and divide it by the annual earnings per share. In reverse of that, I can multiply both sides by annual earnings per share, and then divide by PE, and I would get this formula. So you need to write down this formula. You will be using it later. Also, we have volume in hundredths. So, for instance, if I look at ResMed here, I would say that the volume of that is 3831, and then I'd add 2 more zeros to it. So that's the volume of that one. Okay, and the last ones, these ones right here, high, low, and close, that is of this day. So the high selling price for today of that particular stock, the low selling price, and then the closing price. The net change is how much it changed from yesterday to today. Okay, so let's look at this next one. And we have a lot of vocabulary words in this section. We're looking at cash investments, which is a deposit in a bank account insured up to $100,000. And let me just warn you guys before we go any further. Very possibly could have a vocab quiz sometime next week. So make sure you're writing these things down so that you can remember them. So cash investment, a deposit in a bank account insured up to $100,000. A return is the amount earned from your investment. It's usually the interest paid for the investment. Interest or the profit that was given to each buyer or stockholder. Okay? Stocks are a share of ownership in a company. An investment that has risk can lose principal. Stocks have various risks. Some stocks are way more risky than others. So you have to be careful about them, and you can read about them in the paper or ask an investment broker that would help you figure out which ones are more risky than others. A shareholder is a person that is an investor who owns some percentage of the company. And trading is an actual verb. It's the act of buying or selling stock. The stock exchange, that is the place where trading takes place. So Wall Street is our stock exchange, and every state has some kind of stock exchange in it as well. Some more vocabulary is a capital gain or loss. Okay? So selling shares, if you sell them for more than what you buy them, that is a capital gain. The amount difference is how much you earned. If you sell them for less than what you purchased, that is a capital loss. And the reason why that comes into importance is we get taxed on our capital gains. So if we sell it for more, the government will tax us for whatever we earned in addition to what we bought it for. A dividend is a part of the company's profits that each shareholder receives. So you'll get reports every once in a while, and they'll say, oh, you got this dividend because we earned so much, and each of the shareholders receive that. Most people usually take that amount, though, and reinvest it, or their retirement fund will do that for them. A bond is a certificate that indicates that you loaned money to a company, and with the understanding that they'll pay you back with interest at a given rate. Now, this is different than a stock. It's an actual loan to a company. You don't own any share of the company. face value is the purchase price of the bond. And then portfolio is a listing of all the investments a person holds. Diversified portfolio is a portfolio of a mixture of high and low risk investments, as well as a variety of markets. You want to diversify as much as possible, because if something should go wrong in one area of the market, you don't want your entire savings to be blown away. So it's important to diversify it so that if one area of your investment goes sour, then the rest of your investment's okay. A mutual fund is a group of stocks or bonds managed by a professional investor. So like Edward Jones would be considered a mutual fund investor that helps to pick a different mutual funds that you'll invest in. Newspaper published ratings from 1, which is the worst, to 5, which is the best, of a mutual fund performance, based on whether the manager is doing a good job with its investors' money. 2 numbers are given. The first number compares the performance of the mutual fund to a large company or a large group of similar funds. Okay, they don't have to be exact. The second number that's given to you compares performance of funds with a nearly identical fund. So the best rating would be 5/5, and the worst would be 1/1. So let's look at an example. What were the high and low prices for the past 52 weeks? Well, we're going to look at these numbers right here to find our high and lows. So we have 42.38 is our high, and our low is 22.50. If you owned 3,000 shares of Disney stock last year, what dividend did you receive? So notice we have a dividend of 0.21, so it'll be 3,000 times 0.21. And so if we multiplied that out, we would get $630. Okay, so when we're looking at C, the annual return for dividends alone, we are looking at the yield. So how much are they actually paying per year? It's going to be 0.6% in this case. How does this compare to a bank account offering 3.5 interest rate? Well, not very good. We would do better with a bank account in this case. How many shares of Disney were traded yesterday? That would be volume. So the volume is here. And remember, it's in hundreds. So we can say that 115,900 and then add 2 more zeros to it. That is how many shares were traded yesterday. What were the high and low prices of Disney shares yesterday? Well, the high was 32.50 and the low was 31.25. What was the price at which Disney shares traded when the stock exchange closed yesterday? That was 32.5, which happens to be the same as the high. So what does this mean in the net column? Well, whenever you see that, that's telling you that really there's no change from yesterday to today. And finally, H, compute the Disney's annual earnings per share using this particular formula. So we're going to use yesterday's closing rate, which is 32.50. We're going to divide that by the PE ratio, which was 43. And if you put that in your calculator, you're going to get 0.76. That's your annual earnings per share ratio. All right. So now I want you to try this. Turn off the video for a moment and try it on your own and come back and check your work. Okay, so these are the answers that I got. You might want to pause the video and check your work. And if you have any questions, please bring them to class.